everybody, hello the world. I'm Gosia from the Cosmic Agency, and as promised, I'm going to tell you today.
I noticed my screen doesn't go full screen now. My recordings are off. This is a message they do not want getting out to the world. I don't have computer problems, usually ever. But I was trying to record a show because I already knew this before I knew this. I don't know how to explain it, but like telepathically, somehow I have an understanding of these things. That's why I kept my mouth quiet, because I already knew. I don't know how. I just know how this is going to play out per se, but they're reinforcing what I knew. This is what I love about it.
In this video, what the Tibetans told us about this whole coronavirus situation in China. As you know, because I have been telling you over and over again, they are very busy performing all kinds of tasks and operations and missions. And one of these missions recently was to inspect the situation in China and actually reach conclusions. Whether it is,
I hope you realize if the world is seeing reptilian ships, they're up there kind of fighting that. So what's more important here, life and limb, is what they're saying, but they did take the time because the media is promoting this so-called global pandemic. So between fighting reptiles, they actually use personnel to investigate the Earth here. And they're going to prove their worth here, guys. They're trying to make first contact. This is the type of way they're just trying to help people. Knowledge, guys. It's pure knowledge.
Is true what is being projected into the perception of the population through the media or not? Is there anything to this coronavirus reality or not? So they have performed their analysis. It will be understood how exactly they did it. Well, exactly, more or less, I would say. They actually flew over to China. They were there and they performed their analysis. Now I'm going to read this, okay? I'm not going to speak from my memory. I prefer to just tell you exactly what they told us in their words. So the analysis they did was a spectrometer analysis. It is a sort of a mechanism they have on board, and with that analysis they can see through the frequencies and analyze things to the core of whatever object they are studying, including people. So spectrometer analysis, it was performed over and over again, especially on the supposedly infected. Blood samples were taken as well with the tractor beam. Yes, the tractor beam technology was explained in one of the first chapters in the Stellar Navigation.
So for the Star Trek nerds, they simply went to a hospital, beamed up an infected blood sample and analyzed it. And any Star Trek nerd would be like, yeah, okay, it's not that magical. No, it's not. This is how they're trying to help the Earth little by little here to give an understanding. And I love this. I am so eternally grateful because they verified what some of the world was beginning to believe was going to happen here.
So if you want to know more about the tractor beam technology, how it functions, then I'm going to link that video somewhere here. So the samples were taken with the tractor beams in order to analyze the blood. Now they have a structure, they said, they have a structure map of a hospital taken by the ship itself, because I asked more about this blood sample analysis, how it was performed. And they have a map of a hospital taken by the ship itself. They know where everything is. We isolate the place of the samples after carefully observing it. And then we isolate the sample itself, the test tube. And we pick it up with the tractor beam. That's right. Concrete walls or roof do not stop it. After almost 12 hours of flight, they were there for many hours, taking all the samples and observing everything from the air. We have reached several conclusions, and I'm going to read you their conclusions. We did not find any disease like the one they say. We conclude they are messing with your heads no more. Preliminary.
Right there. The world was focused on protests all over the world, weren't they? And now when you look at the news, there's nothing. And go back, they say, yeah, they stopped. They vanished, didn't they? Yeah. And now every channel on Earth, all of them, I watched all the YouTubers, all the Matrix people, everybody, that's all coronavirus, isn't it? And the people are creating the reality of this virus. Guys, I cannot overstate, we live inside of a matrix. We are the divine. We are the creators of our reality. So the media is programming us, yes. Exactly what they were doing with 9/11. They were trying to create an end of the world scenario. And I'm willing to bet a hard paycheck that I don't ever get that every religious channel out there that spoke about coronavirus, they opened a Bible to some obscure passages from 3,000 years ago. Oh yes, God said there would be a disease, and they're preaching the fire and brimstone all over the world without even looking. And I pick a few channels right off the get-go, and you're like, yeah, it's because God said there'll be this and that. This is the truth of it. Wait till you get the absolute truth of what you're preaching to people here and understanding what you're truly doing. And this is what they're trying to help people with. You are the creator of your reality.
You know, you have to see this place to believe it. It's like something out of Alice in Wonderland. The captain has to come down.
Oh, my paws and whiskers. I'll be late.
Excuse me, sir.
Generally, no evidence of such a virus is found. We have a 10 milliliters laboratory sample of contaminated blood. There is nothing there that is not a normal infection. The sample indicates an anemic individual with low defenses and high sugar. Nothing conclusive.
Pleiadians has said for people to help with the ascension, and for those that are unawakened to this, this is the hand of God. This is what's doing all of this. It's raising the frequencies of God's children. It's altering your DNA. It's bringing you to the next step of evolution. So the Pleiadians are telling people, get sugar out of your diet. It's synthetic, it's crap, it's garbage, and your body is burning through a lot of calories. So candy bars, Coca-Cola, very specifically one of the worst offenders, among other problems with it. This synthetic garbage is causing a lot of deficiency within humans. It's not the coronavirus problem, it's bad diet, number one.
So, although this is not final, our conclusion for now, with a good percentage of reliability, it seems to be that virus has been invented and that everything is coordinated as publicity with perception control using, now this is very interesting, using the common influenza flu virus as the basis.
Right there. So they pulled it apart right down to the microscopic level. They realized it's impossible for it to be natural. Somebody synthetically created a flu. And when I was looking into it right at the beginning, I started looking at the numbers. Guys, it's the middle of winter. What happens if, the flu, yeah. So they just created a dummy strain and started spreading it in the middle of winter. And doctors aren't wise enough to figure out that it is just an altered flu. We don't have the technology the average guy, the Pleiadians do. They can tell the natural from the unnatural. Strands won't combine on a genetic level in such a fashion. It's impossible. This is the type of thing I can easily talk about with them so they can see when man has had a hand in it. So they just created a bloody flu. Yeah. China has 1 billion people. 177 people have died of the flu in the middle of winter. But it's world news. It's coronavirus. No, it's coronavirus. They're exposing it for what it is. But because the people don't know anything about disease or virology, and the others investigating it don't know the truth of it yet, they will in a minute. You're like, yeah, they just created, yeah, so what's the gain out of this? You create the problem and sell the solution. And right there, look at this. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross says China's coronavirus will help bring jobs back to the United States. The media has been on this guy. You complete moron. They were attacking him because but Donald Trump is strong-arming China, telling American companies to come back. And at the same time that this disease comes out, wait till you see where it comes from. The Commerce Secretary, this is going to be great for the economy. It'll inspire American companies to just drop multi-billion-dollar businesses and come back. And he doesn't see the damage of this. There's some raging inside about the whole picture of this.
People die of the flu anyway, all the time. And in itself, there are many viruses, and it is a whole family of them that gives the same symptoms, some stronger than others. And how it varies, it depends on who has it. That's why they use it. It is highly contagious, common, everyone has it. It is activated with stress because it lowers their defenses. The stress lowers the defenses. Now,
So the world is getting stressed out, isn't it? You can't go anywhere without people talking about coronavirus. Like, oh, in the middle of winter. You can call the flu whatever you want. Hepa, herpa, dipa, hiva, hepa 2. Oh my God. It's another name for the flu. Old people are dying from the flu in winter. They simply changed the name, but they created the problem in the first place, guys. This is the insanity of the reality that we live in. But as people begin to stress and worry and fear it, who profits from that? The reptilians that are flying around in the reptilian ships. So you're watching the news, living in fear, generating loosh, which is what they feed off, and then reptilian ships start showing up on different channels. Isn't that a thing? But the people in their homes are watching, oh, this disease is going to kill us. Yeah, people got the flu. But in your mind, because you created the fear, that's what they're doing. They're up there feeding. Look at these dummies. This guy's got a cold, and they're all num, 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 and they're eating it. So you're creating food for aliens by watching the television. Yes, because the world lives in ignorance, which only makes them stronger. The Palladians are trying to tell people, stop feeding the demon. It'll go away. That's it. Yeah, they'll die. Oh, so they always got to keep the world off balance. The protests, nobody really cared, did they? It's pretty evident because it's not even on the media anymore. People care about this. They believe in this. The Bible says you should fear coronavirus. Oh, really? God told us to fear the flu, did he? Why did God create it if he loves us that much? That's the question people should be asking. Because we are responsible for all this. This is where the world has got to wake up on this planet. So rule number 1, that's a reptilian ship. Don't spend your time filming it, leave. Rule number 2, stop feeding it. Do stray animals come to your house? Yeah, well, don't feed them. They will come back here. So the people that are most probably interested in the coronavirus are all the seniors that live in Florida, which is also known as God's waiting room. Yeah. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, there's number 1. Oh, this gets good, guys. Wait till you see.
some people are saying it is biological weapon, right? So here they go on to explain that part. It does not appear to be a biological laboratory weapon, nor is it a strange and new virus that has come from animals. It is just a big scam of pharmaceutical companies and the New World Order. Now,
Number 1, so who did they blame? When I looked at the American media, it was dirty Chinese people cutting up chickens and crabs in the open market. Number 2, it was the Canadians, those damn Canadians. No nuclear weapons. They're going to take over the world with biological tea and crumpets here. But nobody on earth has stopped to think maybe the people doing the most advertising are behind it all. And so we're going to help the world, all the world's media, shift focus on one individual on earth. Would you like to know who it is? Oh, I bet you would. Do you want to really be a hero in your nation? The problem is nobody's going to go after this guy. Nobody. Because the world has no balls. So you're going to continue to live in fear of the flu. Maybe you'll get the flu.
stick with me, more will be explained now in a second. There is still a possibility that it is there, because biological weapons do exist. However, they do not have to, and this is so important now, this is like the core of the message. However, they do not have to release a true virus to create panic, but only to isolate a current strain from this year, from the common flu, for example, and with publicity, use it as if it were a new lethal virus. It is what they have done before. That is to say, they isolate the influenza virus that is naturally in the air this year, because they mutate, and that naturally goes around the world, as usual.
So who's going to profit from the... You gave somebody the effing flu. Now all the world's going to be in a mass panic, so what's the solution? We're going to have to create vaccines. Let's take a look at who's the hero in the world that's going to come up with the cure. Will it be Canada? Will it be Britain? Will it be China? Will it be America? Interesting.
Especially this time of the year. Then, the health authorities of different nations have something to pursue. And also, as it always has been, there are dozens of deaths from influenza and respiratory complications every year.
You guys see? Are you getting mad like I am yet? Watch this. WHO declares every organization on Earth that has world in front of it. The World Bank, the United Nations. It's all cabal. It's the United Nations that ran the Pleiadians off. So the World Health Organization declares global emergency because somebody in China got the flu. A global emergency declared by a global organization. And here come the Pleiadians, the aliens that the world just doesn't want to believe exist. The ones that said, and they're going to expose a lot of this tonight on the show. So the World Health Organization has declared a global emergency over the flu. Oh, I really trust these global organizations.
They focus on that to create social anxiety. To create a virus, you do not need a disease, just good advertising.
Right there, guys, we live in a matrix. So the people are creating the reality of the virus. Yes, they are. Suckers. The religious are spreading fear with the doctrine, number one. Then the people are thinking that they're doing good service to their fellow men, but they're creating the anxiety all over the world. Yes, this is what the cabal does, guys. You are never going to live in peace on this planet until every last one of them is killed, arrested, brought to justice.
Of the human flock, 9 set apart. Separation from counsel and justice. Their fate already decided. Kappa, Theta, Lambda, death, vanished and scattering.
Ah, so are you scared of the flu now? Yes or no? Then why are you spreading it? That's what they're trying to help people. Yeah, God, I fell for this. Yeah, stop being played. When you look at what it does, it affects the lung. Yeah. Do people's eyes fall out? Do they bleed to death? They start biting you like a zombie? No. And what does the Matrix do? They go right to the movie Resident Evil, don't they? Umbrella Corporation. Well, we're going to find out which Umbrella Corporation might be behind this.
Everything is media today. We have not found any viruses, but what we do see is a lot of theater and a lot of mind control through the media. They have done it before with Zika and chikungunya that are nothing more than common dengue type of flu.
Dengue fever, and the world remembers this. Right after the Great Sign in Heaven, they started coming out with these diseases over the Middle East. It's a naturally occurring event. What makes it real or deadly is when the media decides that it's deadly or real, when it's the exact same thing every year. Guys, 1 billion people in China, and 177 have died of the flu. But they changed the name, and they keep the world in fear and paranoia. What's it trying to do? Oh, you better re-elect Donald Trump in America. He is the only man on earth that can save the American people. The savior, the chosen one. He's going to have to elect somebody very powerful to take over control for this. As I'm doing this with rage and love at the same time, when you see, like, you're just angry and such, you're playing me with the bloody flu. So what world media organization, all of them, they don't want you getting out of line, guys. They want a population in fear. You're easy to control that way. Then you live in the illusion, oh, you can't protest. You need the government. You need us.
I'm assuming. What they do is look for viruses or pathogens that humans carry anyway. So yes, they appear in the lab results, but they only look for what is already there. They use the flu because it is perfect. It creates fear, and each person gives different symptoms.
The cabal has been mocking you on the money channels. I've seen it with the world's richest men already talking, oh, there's no cure for this. Exactly, because it's the flu. It's always mutating every second of every day. That's why they've never cured it. They're mocking the world, the elite. They're coming out. Let's look at the stock market. They're manipulating the morons. So somebody's already profiting from this. You know exactly who's going to be hit. Computer already had this knocked out before it ever happened. So the average Joe doesn't know how to respond to losing money out there. Like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, exactly. 600 points because somebody got the flu. Oh my God, we're such suckers on this planet. Yes, we are. It's just simple knowledge from the Pleiadians.
Just playing with humans, just more perception, management, fear, mongering, circus, propaganda. And China, as always, grand lab of the New World Order. Next point. We have followed who is giving the money. The huge hospital of 1,000 beds that will be built in days has its economic origin in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Right there. So to all the world's media, follow the money. They're going to have somebody else here, but this is absolutely epic. So wow, that philanthropist, Bill Gates, Who is involved in everything the Pleiadians have spoken out about? Chemtrails. Bill Gates owned the patent on them. GMO. 5G. Now diseases and vaccines, very specifically. Every single thing that the Pleiadians have been talking about, Bill Gates is involved with. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I am calling for a worldwide investigation. All nations. I started, but there's no aliens. The Bible told us they can't exist. Exactly. So when the world media is going to really begin to pull up their pants and realize that these beings are the real deal, we might have a chance on this planet. And guys, for the record, Nostradamus said, the Antichrist is the system that is and will be defeated by the people of Earth. We don't need any beings coming down here doing it. It begins with people growing a pair and using their minds on this planet and realizing what leadership has got to go. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Every politician, we're going to make change. We're going to do it. Nothing has changed. The banking cartels have not been taken down. The people are suffering. And now you're living in another illusion. And I can't wait to see who's going to come up with the cure, guys, because this is what they're doing. It was a preemptive strike.
The laboratory in Great Britain that has the patent for the coronavirus as a vaccine is part of the Bill Gates Foundation itself.
Right there, guys. So all the world's media. Find the company in Britain. Find out who owns it, who's invested in it. Follow the money. And none of them will do it because this is the world that we live in, my friends. Giving the world the absolute truth and where to look. So the world was misled thinking it's a Canadian problem and China stole it and they're doing to themselves. The truth is it was patented in Britain and owned by Bill Gates. Period.
It is the old create the problem to sell the solution. There is nothing there, more of the same. There will be people who will come and say, we have proof. And now they are saying, we maintain what has been said. It is part of the advertising mechanism, but there isn't anything to worry about as coming from the so-called virus itself, only from the humans and what they do using the virus as an excuse. As it was back in 1918, the real killer is in the vaccine, not in the virus. That is the danger. It is very coincidental, they say, that they already have the vaccine so quickly. So again, it's not that these are completely final conclusions, but given who is behind, the conclusions are kind of self-revelatory.
They have outed Bill Gates on many fronts here. I can't overstate this. Why is the world's richest man involved in everything that they have spoken out against? And who's going to touch him? So as long as the people continue investing and turning the blind eye on the real problem in this world, nothing is going to change. This is the stance that this world has got to begin to take. Now the FBI has an onus on the American people when this type of information comes into the world, don't they? That's what I'm trying to tell people, but you never see it. This woman just made this up in Spain. Bored, smoked some weed, and come up with this type of story, did it? This is the reality that we live in this world. But who's going to watch the watchers? And nobody does. Until the world is ready to take it seriously, nothing is going to change. You will continue to live in fear as cattle and sheep and continue manifesting the same reality over and over until you begin to use your minds on this planet and come together. That's the loving message that I'm trying to share with people. I told you you're not going to scare me with anything. We are the creators of our reality, so the world has created the reality of the flu. We're the suckers.
Bill Gates is the one who is paying for vaccines for the whole world for purposes of eugenics, of destruction of humanity. Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. He is behind the coronavirus.
You heard it right there, the horse's mouth. Bill Gates, directly responsible for the coronavirus, is the one behind it all. He creates the problem. He will sell the solution. And he controls the media outlets and computers that won't record properly to try and share the message. So this is our fight, ladies and gentlemen, in Starseeds.
The great pandemic of 1918 was also the same. They used the flu and promoted it as great danger. Inoculated the population, and that's why so many died. The agenda of killing the population with vaccine is not new. It has been already implemented over 100 years ago. We do not believe at this time that it is anything other than a cabal's game to see how people react to such a crisis. Also, to know the weaknesses of the health systems of different nations, to know how to move their pieces in the future, also with the aim of selling vaccines and medicines.
Right there. You see how terrifying this is. Until the world is truly ready to investigate Bill Gates or take action against the American government. I'm talking even in Canada here. I'm not putting up with this. I'm not. I'm either living in fear watching television and these things, and I can't explain this to my mother. It's a loving, very simple Christian woman that reads the Bible, that sees the end times prophecies because the church is telling her to read Revelation now. Just a coincidence. Palladians have already outed. It's the Jesuits, the Vatican,